Hi, my name is Veronica Kentho, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my presentation on Bessel van der Kolk's trauma and the body, and how the body remembers the trauma just as much as our minds do. Let's learn a little bit more about Bessel van der Kolk. He obviously is a doctor who was born in 1943 in the Netherlands. He's a psychiatrist and a trauma researcher. He got his MD from the University of Chicago, and his psychiatry training was done at Harvard Medical School. Vessel van der Kolk emerged during a period when trauma was understood mainly through a psychological lens. So his research has been a great contributor to reframing trauma as both a mental and physiological experience, showing how it is stored in the body as well as the mind. Let's look a little bit closer at his theory and contributions. So, van der Kolk's research reveals that trauma isn't just remembered in the mind, it's held in the body, and how you breathe, your heart rate, your muscles, absolutely everything in your body feels the trauma. When a person experiences threat, the amygdala becomes hyperactive while the prefrontal cortex shuts down. This causes a fight, flight, or freeze response that floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline. Even after the danger passes, the body can remain on high alert. Van der Kolk emphasized that healing requires reconnecting the body and brain through approaches like yoga, EMDR, and mindfulness. So I came up with this diagram because he emphasized that people often get stuck in a loop where they are constantly in high alert and their bodies are constantly reacting. And then all physical reactions reinforce emotional memories, keeping the body on high alert even after danger has passed. So it just continues this cycle over and over again. So he says that mindful movement, breathing, and connecting rewrites the brain to interpret sensations as safe rather than threatening. And this breaks the loop, the cycle. Let's take a look at some of the strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with the strengths. So his research shows that it integrates neuroscience and psychology. This connects brain function with emotional and physical responses to trauma. It also introduces embodied healing. So it emphasizes that recovery requires working with both the mind and body. Practical and holistic offers concrete body based interventions such as yoga, EMDR, mindfulness, and neurofeedback. And it also empowers trauma survivors. It shifts focus from what's wrong with you to what's happening to you, promoting dignity and understanding. And another strength that I find in his research is influence trauma informed care. This laid the foundation for modern practice in education, therapy, and social work. So now let's look at some of the weaknesses that I have found in the research. So there's limited empirical validation. Some body-based treatments, yoga, EMDR, they lack consistent scientific evidence across studies. Individual focus. This may overlook larger systemic, social, and cultural contributions to trauma. Complex implementation. So, not all clinical or social work settings have training or resources to apply body based methods. His research has also been criticized for overgeneralization. So, his book, The Body Keeps the Score, may oversimplify diverse trauma experiences. And lastly, the last weakness that I found in his research is that it relies on clinical observation. So some aspects are grounded more in experience than standardized research. Let's see how his research applies to social work practice. So, the trauma informed perspective is a fundamental shift from focusing on pathology to focusing on survival. So, the main idea is to view a client's behaviors, such as withdrawal, aggression, or emotional outbursts, not as symptoms of a personal failing or illness, but as natural body based survival responses to overwhelming past trauma. In essence, you shift your mindset from the judgmental question of what's wrong with you to the compassionate, inquiring question of what's happening to you. Body based interventions. Body based interventions or somatic interventions are techniques used to help clients process trauma by addressing its physical nonverbal manifestation in the body rather than relying only on traditional talk therapy. The core goal is to help a person feel safe and connected to their body in the present moment. This involves using simple techniques in sessions such as breathing exercises, grounding techniques like naming 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, or sensory input like holding a cold object to calm the nervous system and bring awareness out of past trauma and into the safety of the present. Reconnecting through movement, therapists incorporate activities like mindfulness, gentle movement, or yoga to help clients safely and gradually increase their awareness of their physical sensations without becoming overwhelmed. Collaboration, practitioners often collaborate with specialists trained in modalities that integrate the body into treatments such as somatic experiencing, EMDR, trauma informed yoga, art, or expressive therapies. Restoring regulation and safety. So, the goal of this phase in trauma therapy is to help the client's overactive nervous system move out of a constant state of alert, your fight, flight, or freeze, and establish a new foundation of calmness, predictability, and control. And systems level application. So, systems level application means taking the principles of trauma informed care and applying them not just to individual clients, but to the entire institutions, organizations, and policies that interact with people who have experienced trauma. The goal is to transform systems like schools, legal, and healthcare environments from places that might inadvertently re traumatize people into trauma sensitive, healing focused spaces. So, Bessel van der Kolk's work is a call to shift our perspective. Trauma is not a life story to be merely talked away, but an imprint on the brain and body that requires a holistic, embodied path to healing. So, one of my favorite quotes from his book is trauma is not the story of something that happened back then, but the residue that lives on in the body. And that's it. That's all I got. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.